And as fate would have it, as soon as we launch a book on parenting and money, Rachel gets pregnant, right?
Can you believe it?
I can believe
It's like the stars aligned.
I can believe it. I can believe it. So all this Smart Money, Smart Kids, you were the kid in the book. In a sense, you were using the kid's perspective, and so you're an expert on being you, and you were the kid raised in the Ramsey household. But now you're starting to think about this stuff through a different light with a baby on the way.
I know. Winston and I were talking. I was like, gosh, I should probably read Smart Money, Smart Kids again. Read Dad now and actually read his part and take it seriously and be like, okay. I'm just kidding. No, but it changes so much already. I mean.
You see different things.
Yes.
You really do.
So I can't even imagine when it's actually when you actually have a child in life. But it gets the wheels turning for sure. Yeah.
You know, the articles are always going around, and James Childs, our producer, laid an article in here from CNN Money that says the average cost of raising a child hits $245,000. Of course, the implication is no one can afford to raise a child. It's impossible. You'll never make enough money. And people are waiting later and later to have children. Some of that is education things. Some of it is debt things. But some of it is that people are just afraid that they can't afford to raise a child, to have a child. When they hear figures like that, it costs $250,000 to raise a kid. I hear figures like that, and it's just causing changes in our society and how we're populating the world or not populating the world. People are making a decision not to have kids. You've had friends that have delayed for that reason, haven't you?
Sure. Well, not so much, I don't think because of money, but I think people are just having kids later and later in life. There's more opportunity, there's more work, there's just different things that you do. People want to accomplish different things before they have kids. But yes, we have had two sets of friends that have said, it's just so expensive. We want to wait because of that. And honestly, you hear that and it's like, in my eyes, my first reaction was, okay, that was wise. That's a wise thing to do, to wait. But then you look at the reality of it and say, okay, it doesn't have to be as expensive as everyone makes it out to be. Almost you can, and we just found out the gender last week, we're having a little girl. And I'm like, we could have already spent, hand over fist already just finding out the gender on like clothes and starting the nursery. I mean, you could spend so much money so quickly. And I feel like that's where that number gets inflated, where it can be so expensive, but it doesn't have to be.
I mean, the idea that somehow having a child, now having 16 kids will, but having a child is going to completely break your finances is just not true. I mean, the first year is tough because you've got diapers and you've got, you have to go to the pediatrician often enough to make sure his or her portion payment is paid. And, you've got some extra bills there and the special food and stuff. But pretty quickly as they grow, they don't use up that much extra electricity. They don't use up that much extra water in the house. They don't, and so this idea that a kid is that expensive, it really isn't true. Now, you can make choices, like you said, to go absolutely bananas.
Well, and I even hear some people say, well, we need a bigger house before we start a family. And I'm like, but baby, it's this big. It didn't, you know what I mean? It didn't take up a lot of room. I mean, obviously you have the crib. There is some stuff with it. But, I mean, I think people, they overdo it sometimes, and even move to a big house in the namesake of we have to have this in order to start a family.
I was reading some of our family history that was written by a great-great-great-grandmother in a book that was published last night. And you're looking at what someone in the 1800s lived in and called a house. And they had 8 kids in 3 bedrooms.
Right.
They're just stacked in there like cordwood. And that was normal. Now, if every child doesn't have its own separate suite with their own bath, it's like we don't have a big enough house. I mean, it's gotten just ridiculous. 78% of the 13-year-olds have a TV in their own room. That's 8 out of 10. I mean, and this, as if those things are required to raise a child. They're not required to raise a child that's healthy and well-balanced and reasonable. They're luxuries, and there's nothing wrong with luxuries if you can afford them. But that stuff is just completely out of control. And I also have parents call me, and I'm the guy that tells everybody to get out of debt before you buy a house, before you do this. But I don't tell you to get out of debt before you have kids.
Which is shocking.
Why?
I would say that. I don't know. I guess because of what you said, you would think that you need to be on baby step 3, or to a certain point with your money
before you have babies.
Yeah, I don't know why.
The big deal is the big reason is
that.
it just doesn't cost as much as everybody says it does. I mean, it's not required that you not pay off your $20,000 student loan because you had a baby.
Right.
Make sure you have health insurance in place, obviously, or maybe it's not obvious to some people, but you need to have health insurance in place.
Because that's expensive.
And yeah, you can, but the labor and delivery can be really expensive, especially if there's a little bit of a hiccup or something, and you get like a day or two in the NICU. Boom, man, you got all of a sudden serious money. So you make sure you have your health insurance in place. But other than that, I don't tell people you need to be debt free before you get married, or you need to be debt free before you have babies. I don't believe that. Now you need to use some common sense with that. And again, you're not having 16 kids while you've got debt coming out your ears and you make $23,000 a year. You can't do that either. You got to use some balance to the discussion. But this thing of children are too expensive or you need to be debt free before you have children, I just don't believe it. And it's not proven to be true in our lives. I mean, when you guys were little, we were broke. Mm-hmm. And you never missed a meal, and you never went without clothes, and you never went without shoes, and the lights in the house while you were alive have never been cut off, that kind of thing. So
but I think it's hard today, and I think a lot of maybe young parents listening would think, for me, I mean, it's different today because I think you have so many more temptations to spend so much more money because things are constantly in front of you. You're looking on, half the moms live on Facebook, and there's Instagram and there's blogs. I mean, there's all these things that are constantly. You know
what busts a young parent's budget in your all's situation? It's not the needs of the child. It's the wants of the parent.
Oh, don't say that. I want smock dresses for my little girl.
You're going to buy, you're going to buy a dress if you don't watch for $200 that they wear one time.
Yeah.
Because they grow so fast they can wear it one time.
But it's so hard.
They're cute and it's funny and it's fun, and if you've got the money,
sure,
that's okay. But you're going to buy stuff when they're babies that they wear one time.
Wait, say that again. People overspend not because of the needs of the child, but because of the wants of the parents.
Yeah, you're wanting to impress your friends with Baby Gap. The kid is not impressed. The kid doesn't even know what it's wearing. It's ridiculous. Baby Gap. My butt. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
Rachel Cruze is my guest. We're talking babies and money. Smart money, smart kids this half hour on the Dave Ramsey Show.